We're really pretty pleased, and if it's important to me, it'll be important to these guys. Most when you coach, what's ever most important to me will be most important to them. So it can be everything. So when you watch today, you know, how we're going to play and what we're trying to get done is evident in what I'm doing with the tape and what I'm showing them. But Adu surprised me a little bit, but he's been hurt. Hadn't been practicing. He ain't making the club in the tub. But he came out today or yesterday and did some good stuff. Now he still gave up defensively because you get 2 steals doesn't mean you're. But CJ was ridiculous as a basketball player. Everyone else will look and say he didn't make a jump shot. Did you watch that game? You watch it as a fan, you say, he didn't make any shots. He played as well as anybody in that short period of time as we had.
Have you ever encountered anybody quite? I mean, I know you've had Anthony Davis, but he was grown by the time you got him. Have you ever dealt with anyone in the situation that Adu is in, where you have no idea what he's going to end up while he's here? I mean, he might be 6'8" by the time the season starts.
Right, he's growing right now. Yeah. I swear to you, I look at him, I see he's getting bigger. He was 5'8" at my basketball camp.
When was that?
8th grade,
yeah,
9th grade, 7th grade. Dad would bring him down, and he always said, "I want to play for you." And I'm looking at 5'8", okay, kid. And then I went and watched him, and he was 6'5", and I'm like, wow. And the more I watched him, I know he has to learn to play off the ball, not just on the ball. Got to be better defensively, but his instincts are so good. And because he's played on the ball, when he does get it, he can make plays. And he's big. And he may end up being 6'8" or 6'9". Mom's big, dad's big. His sister's big. Sister was bigger. Right? She was bigger than him for years. He was so mad. Every kid is on their own path. And he's one of those that he's on a different path. This is all new to him. But this is a great experience for them to come together, to be about one another, and know exactly what we need to do if we're going to be special. So happy for Damian. And I've said, this is last year, he knew he wasn't ready. You ready for this? Even more important, his parents knew he wasn't ready.
Is that refreshing for you?
I hugged them both. Yeah. Like I thought, why, no, the other guys were better than him. We know. What? And now, the game he played was what he looked like in practice the other day. So before the game, I said, just be that guy. Everybody in here is different. No one can do the stuff Damian can do, but the way Antonio plays is different than CJ. Chris is different. Kaysen has his way. Severe does his. Lance is different from Oscar. Just be you. Be your best. You don't have to be somebody else. And then you got to improve your skills. I mean, I got on Jacob a little bit. This kid's living in the gym. When I tell you 7 o'clock every morning, he is in there putting. Why would you shoot fadeaways? You're not in the gym practicing fadeaways.
Foot kickers.
Yeah. Like, I saw 3 foot kickers. You were 0 for 3. So one of the NBA scouts says to me, man, he's way better. And, you see the physicality, the athleticism. You just got to make shots. He does make shots. He doesn't foot kick. So. But I think, again, it's like all of them. If you tell them what you want, they respond.
How much? Everybody's super focused, rightly so, because they were crazy on the 2 dunks that Damian had, kind of alien type dunks. But everybody's sort of knew he could do something like that. The perimeter stuff, I assume, for you was
No,
the most encouraging.
he's been doing it, and I'm like, he was shooting too many threes when we first started in the summer. And I said, pull up at your size, they can't guard it. So you go one dribble pull up at the foul line, and he shoots it like that. When you're 7 foot tall, that's Kevin Durant stuff. You can't guard it because of how long he is. That's him. Now, can he shoot threes? Yeah. But that pull up is what you guys saw. The other thing, how about the passing? Now all of a sudden you got a guy that can catch it and drive it and throw it to somebody. I mean, that was, that to me gave us one more thing. I said this this summer. I went back and I told the guys, the staff, take out the COVID year. That's a throwaway. Didn't have any, we call the tune-up games, had none, got on a bad roll with 8-8 in the league, which is not what we normally are. You take that year away. I said, let's go back. I want to see stats for all those other years, including last year, all the years. What you find out is everything was within 5%. Number of shots taken, field goal percentage, rebounding, margins, defensive field goal percentage, assist to turnover, all within 5% my entire time here, which is why we were winning 30 games a year. All within that. In the 5-year stretch, one thing stood out: block shots. And those 5 years, 4 of those years we went to the Final Four, won the national title, were the highest shot blocking years. And I said, I'm playing guys that will block shots this year. Because it's been, everything else is what's different. But those 5, you struggled to get baskets. And when I saw our guards, it's like Eric Bledsoe blocking balls or John Wall blocking balls. All of a sudden you got people blocking from all different places. That's why I wanted to play Damian. That's why Jacob was going to play more this year. Didn't care. I'm playing him. Could I have played him last year more? Yeah, but they probably weren't quite in the mentality they are now. Maybe I could have, and by the end of the year we could have had that guy, which we needed down the stretch. But that was the biggest difference.
And then the block shots create the turnovers and yes, transition.
But the other thing it does, guys won't run in there to try to shoot layups. So now you're shooting a shot that is a lower percentage shot, that if you miss, we're flying. A layup is 90%. And you have to pull up, and it's contested, that thing's down to 28%, 29%. It's what it is. So what shot blocking does, I call it, it's like there's Casper in there. There's a ghost in there, and you don't want to go in there because I'm going to get some, or you go breakaway and you're looking back. It just changes everything when you have those guys. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm telling you, I'm going to play those guys that are going to block more shots. I love what Chris Livingston did. He came in, everything was one hand. When I watched him in high school, one-handed rebounds. And all I've been on him about is two-handed rebounds. You look at every one of those rebounds he had, he was grabbing balls with 2. I couldn't be more proud of him. And then he gets 8 rebounds because of it, against a team that was physical enough and big enough to take balls from us. They took them from Oscar, they took them from Damian. They were big enough. Lance, I mean, that, they were legit. We just kind of got away from them a little bit.
Antonio is a guy that seems like day one was at your level offensively, and you clearly are focused on bringing him up to speed on the other side.
Yeah, and here's why I say that. You can't exchange baskets if you're trying to do something special. You've got to be able to do things. He's never been held to this standard. It's just, I'm not in here yelling, cussing, screaming at guys. I'm holding them to a high standard. If you can't do this, you understand the other team's going to go at you, and then I got to take you out. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you the truth. So now you'll watch him start to step up because he knows. Adu, you can't make the club in the tub. You can't tell me your groin hurts my little toe, I got to take a day off. Fine, you're our 11th man then. You shouldn't be, but that's your choice. So all those kind of things, you know, to hold them to account. And with him, his job last year was to score baskets, and now you got to guard too. And you got to be good in pick and rolls, or you'll be in 1,000 pick and rolls.
And he seemed, I mean, I was watching his body language, demeanor, like he seems very open to that. Like he came here to get some of that stuff, right?
That and if the kids know you care about them, they can take whatever you're doing, because you're not doing it to be mean or nasty, and you're not being emotional about it. You're just saying, I watched the tape, here's what I saw. If that bothers you, or you don't want to hear stuff, that's okay with me. I just won't tell you much. And then when I start calling you by number, like number 22, oh man, he doesn't even know my name. Yeah, you start worrying about me coaching you at that point. Number 5.
So you forget their name if they
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to hear it?
I'm not dealing with them enough. I'll look at their number 22. Come here. Oh my gosh, you forgot my name.
Speaking of 22, just how advanced is Kaysen at this point defensively, and how far along do you think?
He's what I saw, the game I watched where I fell in love with him, where I said, okay, we got to have this kid. He went against Shaden and went right at him. No fear, and really physically and every other way was like, I'm going to prove I'm better. And I thought it would be a great thing, him coming here, and now my man, they're going nose to nose. This stuff was going to elevate. Now Shaden's 7th pick in the draft, and all that's behind us, and I'm happy for the kid. But what happens is, I got a player that's even better than I thought. I called his AAU coach, Jeff Webster. I said, Jeff, he's better than I thought. I told you. He's a warrior, man, this kid. And he's doing everything. Best thing is, and the best players I've had have been like this with their emotions. You never see this kid, he's like that. And whether he makes shots, misses shots, you know, whether you passed him up, whether he's defending, he doesn't change.
Did you like to, I mean, he came out, seemed pretty clear he had some jitters for 5 or 6 minutes when he started. That he started that way, you know, not great, and then finished the game the way that he
told,
did.
it was just with Oscar talking about a bunch of things, but one of the things, that's his roommate, he said, Coach, he was so nervous the night before. And I told him, man, just go play hard. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. So, but here's the thing. When we go against each other, you got good against good. Terrific. So you're not blocking as many shots, you're not getting as much. And when you're one of those guys down on the totem pole, you may not look as good, and then you get against normal players, and all of a sudden, you know, but I think all of them, I think they're happy with each other, and you know, the thing about, man, they play hard, man, are they fast, man, they play for each other, they have fun. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, this next team, I don't think they're going to be like the team we just played. I'm not worried about it. We're going to worry about how we play and what we do. We won't even look at the score, could care less. This is about us, not us beating them. And so, but we'll see. They may be better than we think.
Off the current team, tell me about this practice facility that I hear you have some interest in.
Yeah, let me look, I've got a president that I work for who first of all said students first. And then what did he do?
Built a bunch of dorms.
And what else did he build?
Student center.
And what else did he build?
I don't know what else.
He built all the places they eat and how they eat. I mean, this guy, and you know, the other thing I see, University for Kentucky, not University of Kentucky, University for Kentucky. So now I've been going West Kentucky, knowing how many I've spent a lot of time in East Kentucky, and, going northern and stuff, but this basketball program is the University for Kentucky. And what a practice that's 20 years ahead. It includes the history of this program. Where do you find the history of this program? Where? Where you go in a book and read it? How about the history where people from East and West can come, and there's the history of this program. Now, if you're 24 or 25, what is your history? The last 10, 12 years. The interactive. How about players are interviewed about their experiences here and their recollection of their time? And you can walk into this, it's not a Hall of Fame, but an area where you walk in and it's interactive. And you want to take pictures, real life pictures of Anthony Davis. This state deserves that. This basketball program has been what it's been for 100 years. It ain't changing. But that's part of it. Now, the rest of it, the facility, the gyms, the sports science in there, the how you eat, the nutritionalist, all of it should be 20 years ahead. And we can do that. I would tell you that everybody should be behind this. Our administration, look, I'm telling you, when you say our baseball facility might be the nicest in the country, and I'm happy about that. Our football facility, we spent $200 million. Soccer, we got an unbelievable, I've been there, watched the soccer. You're talking now, the track, I love it. At the end of the day, when I walked in here 13 years ago, things weren't, forget about where the basketball program was, but to bring everything together so we could build all this stuff. And now, I would say administration should be like, we're doing this. How about the state? If this is the university for Kentucky, and it's the basketball program, which everybody, it's what it is. How about the state says we're in? We're going to invest. I'll tell you right now, Anthony Davis gave $350,000 on a text to me. I want to do this. Tell me what I do. Do you know what our former players would do? They just got to see it. What is it? And so it's the next challenge that we all have.
So are you planning to bang the drum and raise the funds essentially for that? Or what?
It's got to be, what it has to be is it's got to be importance of everybody saying, well, wait a minute, we need all that stuff, and let's go with it. When we did the locker room at Rupp Arena, any negative people, we left out. Anybody that we did that facility in 9 months. We dug up the ground. And it wasn't state funded, university funded. We went in and said, we're doing this. And the only people involved were the ones that were going to say, yes, we're doing it. We have the nicest locker room in the entire country in the NBA or college. That's how it got done. And now I'm saying, yes, we have all these wonderful facilities. Now it's time. This is what it is. Let's go.
And you're thinking something, a combined use space that's
I
museum
think
type thing.
This is my mindset. What I'm saying, I'm not saying just a gym, but it has to be bigger and not leak like the one we got. But it's got to be bigger because that's what they are now. And people should come in and see this and say, whoa. But this is Kentucky basketball, the gold standard in the country. This university, this state, is basketball. And so now it's time to say this is what we want to do. So I think, again, I'll push the needle, let's go. But I would say what our president has done, he knows the impact it's had. We have our biggest class ever. Why is that? Because of what you did for him. Now, if we all want basketball to keep going like we're doing, and they could say, well, you just had, you're recruiting and they're saying this, that, and the other. Yeah, but this stuff flips real quick. And I think it's the next challenge we have, and then it becomes, I'm telling you, why wouldn't the state come in and say we're in? We'll earmark, because this is the basketball program for the University for Kentucky, and everybody can enjoy this and come and see it and be on campus and look at what this is. And again, I think you would have people give to it. That's one thing these people in this state will give to. Men's basketball. Oh, they'll give.
Did that ever surprise you when you got here? You mentioned, like, where do you find Kentucky history? I know there was at one point there was a museum and it shut down, but like that a program like this, that there's not some grand hall.
Well, you got to be.
Where you can see it all.
You got to be intentional. You got to say we're doing this, and the reason is this is a basketball school. It's always been there. Alabama is a football school. So is Georgia. I mean, they are.
Right.
This is our football team. I hope they win games and 10 games and go to bowls. At the end of the day, that makes my job easier, and it makes the job of all of us easier. But this is a basketball school. And so we need to keep moving in that direction and keep doing what we're doing. And I think people knowing it's not just, well, he needs a gym, fix the roof. That's not what if you know me well enough, when I'm saying we need something, I'm talking like the locker room at Rupp Arena. I went in, I'll tell you the story. They showed me the locker room. It smelled like urine. Pee. That's what it smelled like. You know why it smelled like pee?
Because there was pee in there.
The circus was in there the week before. Do you know what elephants do?
Pee.
They pee. And how about a giraffe? Do you ever see a giraffe pee? It's 5 minutes. So now all of a sudden, you figure out that the entire building had heating and cooling. One unit that heated everything, including the locker room. So if it was 90 degrees in that arena, it was 90 degrees, 105. You know what pee does at 105? And I went in and said, we can't do this. And then we got together and said, hey, I went to Joe Kraft, the Healy family, had a couple families. You know what they built when they built this? With the money that we raised, they built new locker rooms. They built 6,000 square feet of storage space. They built the new area for the media, all that stuff. They built new areas for, how about
Elephant urinals?
Yeah, they let the elephants go themselves. But the biggest thing we did, the heating and cooling is in our locker room for our locker room. So if you want this to smell like urine and be 115, our locker room will be 71 degrees, and it's self-contained. But and now when people go in, they say there's not a better locker room. How many years ago did we do it?
7, 8.
So now
That was when you put the Final Four floor and the dome in.
Yeah, we did all this stuff, but here's the thing with this. I would want, that locker room will be fine for another 10 years. I want this, whatever we do, 20 years. Everybody's still talking, it's still, building it the right way, and we can do it, and we can raise the money, but you got to get started, and you got to have champions for men's basketball, for the basketball program. Who's the champions? Can't be just me. It's got to be throughout. When the university stands and said, we need to do this thing will get done right away.
You don't sound like a guy who's like ready to walk out the door then, because that's not like going to be done next week or next year.
Well, I hope it's done within a year, 2 years. I do. I'm just that guy. I mean, we all come together and say, you don't know yet.
Okay.
I have an idea where I'd like it to go, because I'd like it to be the centerpiece
In your
of the
backyard?
campus.
Oh.
No,
Easy
but
activity.
in the centerpiece of the campus, we have an unbelievable library where it sits and all that. There are areas that you could say, "Wow, it's that space." But you know what? That would be people coming together and saying, "How do we do this? Where do we do it?" You got to get architects involved to say, "Here's the vision." I'll tell you, when we did the locker room, we did it on a board. I did it on a whiteboard. And we ended up, here's what I want this thing to look like. And then the architects went and drew it up, and bang, it literally got done in 8 or 9 months.
Wow.
And again, you know, the way we did it with the funding and all that stuff, it'll move. But like I said, I believe people know. I believe people know the importance of basketball to our state, the university for Kentucky, and tying this all together and making this like, I'm not saying $200 million. It's not what I'm saying. You can do this and make this done right. They're doing archives. Jim Host was doing archives where they're doing all these interviews of former players. So they have the archives. Could be right in this building. You want to go listen to the interviews? You could do sit-down interviews with Anthony, with John Wall, with DeMar, all these, there's 50 of them,
Right.
where you could visually see them talking about their experience, and you go to the wall and press their picture. They talk about what they wanted to do here. And again, they will give to something like that. These kids will. I get